first came to United States, the only thing that I heard from my cousins and other people was that you gotta watch Michael Jordan. You gotta see Michael Jordan. You know, if you're here, you need to know about Michael Jordan. And I had no clue about who he was, what basketball was. You know, I never had any interest. But then it, all of that changed once I saw his dunk from the free throw line in a Chuck E. Cheese. I was there because, I was like 12 years old. But then they were suddenly playing his highlights, and I realized that, hey, that's Michael Jordan. And once I saw him take off from the free throw line, it changed everything for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be doing horoscope of my main man, Michael Jordan. And as you saw, he is one of the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. I mean, you got to watch his highlights. You got to go on YouTube. You got to see that free throw dunk that he made on the dunk contest, and you will know what I'm talking about. So, if you're new to my channel, and if you're an athlete, and if you want to know if you can be just as good as Michael Jordan, well, stick around, because then you will see what combination it takes in one's true horoscope to make them a great superstar. Okay, and Michael Jordan has all the signs to become an athlete, or to become like a fighter, to become, go into any kind of sports, but you'll see. So, and you saw that Michael Jordan was born on February 17th, 1963 in Brooklyn, New York at 10:20 a.m. And guess what? Michael Jordan is an Aries ascendant. And if you go watch my video on Aries ascendant or Aries rising sign, you know what they're all about. Because Aries rising sign, meaning that during the time Michael Jordan was born, the sign that was rising from the east, where sun rises from, the sign of Aries was rising. Meaning that Aries are very active people. They're very athletic. They are always on the move. They're very impulsive. They have that Mars energy to like go and get their goals set. They have that energy to, go out and win the war. That's what Aries is. It's a very active, physically active sign. And Aries represents firefighters, athletes, any kind of sports, military, police work that requires you for you to use your body to in a competition. Pretty much Aries is competition, and this is just his whole life is about that. His whole life is about competition. His whole life is about winning. And so, as you see his chart, as an Aries ascendant, the Lord that controls his sign of Aries, Mars, is in the 4th house, debilitated. Okay, but then you must be thinking, how did he become a great athlete if, his Mars, his ascendant is debilitated? Well, Mars is receiving a beautiful Neech Bhang Raj Yoga, meaning cancellation of debilitation and taking his planet to a higher height. Why? Because Saturn, where Mars is exalted in Capricorn, is sitting in Capricorn in Kendra. And if you don't know these terminologies, check out the link below and check out my book there, where you will learn everything about astrology. So he's receiving a Neech Bhang Raj Yoga from Saturn. But what makes him an athlete, what makes him a fierce athlete, is a mutual aspect between Mars and Saturn. Just like when I did Priyanka Chopra's horoscope, and I said she's a workaholic, and I told you that she could also make a beautiful athlete. Same thing here. Anytime Saturn and Mars are in mutual aspect or in conjunction, it makes a person workaholic. It makes a person a fighter. It makes a person, like they will give their last drop of blood, but they would want to win. And so this combination happening in the 4th house, where Mars is, and 10th house of career, where Saturn is, he's really competitive in the area of his career and in home. Like in home too, we will discuss in this segment how his home life is. Okay, but here a clear indication of becoming an athlete. And Saturn, represents workaholic, which represents discipline, which represents structure, organization, is in the sign, and it's in its own sign, and in the sign of, and in the house of career. So his career, he's very disciplined about his career. And as you realize, he practiced day and night, day and night. Even though he was a superstar, he practiced 8 hours a day, free throws and 3-point shots. And he would just go out and just to shoot. That's what made him a great athlete, because he's a workaholic. He really takes in, his career seriously. But, but, what really got him going? As if you know, in Vedic astrology, there's something called Mahadashas, as in time periods where a certain planet is controlling your majority of your time periods in life, of 7 years, 6 years, 20 years, 17 years, 16 years. Well, Michael Jordan really became famous in the Mahadasha of Ketu. Yes, the south node of the moon, which is supposed to be about detachment, which is supposed to be about isolation, which is supposed to be about letting go of material gains. But if you also watch my video of Raj Yogas of Rahu and Ketu, Ketu is giving him a beautiful Raj Yoga. Because Ketu is sitting with the Lord of the 10th house in Kendra with the 10th house Lord, Saturn. So that means Ketu is first of all molding himself into becoming Saturn and Mercury. But in his dasha, his career went on the rise because of Ketu being part of a Raj Yoga in his horoscope. But there was a turbulent time. Like he was injured. He got injured in Ketu Mahadasha and Mars Antradasha, sub period of Mars, because Mars is debilitated. Mars is the ascendant lord body. So in 1985 and 86, he was injured. His foot was broken, and that happened because of the fact Mars was debilitated. So just because Mars is receiving a Neech Bhang Raj Yoga doesn't mean Mars is not going to give his negative effect. It did give him his negative effect, and he was injured for a whole year during the sub period of that Mahadasha. Now, if you also notice that Michael Jordan, when he came back, he retired in 1993. But then he came back again in 1996, 95 he came back. And at that time again, he was running through debilitated sub-period of Mars. He was running through Venus Mahadasha and Mars Antradasha. And during that time when he came back, again he failed, because he lost in the playoffs when he came back in the middle of the season. And people thought that, oh, he's going to take Chicago Bulls to the finals again, but then he lost. And then he came back again in Rahu. Rahu, for him, again, gave him back when he was first injured in 1985, 86, in Mars Antradasha, but when Rahu Dasha came, he rose again. Because Rahu is in the 4th house, in Kendra, becoming strong. It's part of a Raj Yoga, again. Because Rahu is Lord of the Kendra in Kendra with Mars, and has an aspect of another Kendra Lord, Saturn, from Kendra. So Rahu is becoming again a Raj Yoga Karak planet. And Rahu looks at the career, meaning that amplification of career and amplification of the 4th house. And if you notice, his house is a huge mansion. But it also brings him negative effect. But however, anytime Rahu Antradasha came, he rose, because of the fact it was part of the Raj Yoga. But the reason why he fell, because of the Raj Yoga Lord Mars, because Mars is debilitated. So Mars is going to go do his thing. But Rahu is not debilitated in Cancer. Rahu in Cancer makes a person worldly. Okay, so, and its aspect on the 10th house always rose him to the career. But in 1993, when Michael Jordan retired, his father was also murdered. His father passed away pretty much. Why? Because in 1993, Saturn, which is an enemy of Sun, and Saturn is also the Skarka, significator of death, went over his son in transit. So when he went over his son in transit, it took away his father. But in 1993, he went over his son, and so his father passed away. His reputation came down because he suddenly just left basketball. So his status was suddenly affected. But then once Saturn moved his tail away from Sun, he came back again. And if you also notice, Michael Jordan got divorced in 2006 from his wife of 17 years. Why? If you look at his chart, first of all, Saturn from the 10th house looks at the 7th house of marriage, meaning that he should have married late. If he married early, it would have led to a divorce. But if he would have, let's say, waited till after the age of 32 to get married, like in 1992 or 91, he would still be married. But because he married before the age of 32 due to Saturn's placement and Saturn aspect, he got divorced. Saturn just said, no, this is not going to work out. Now, why did the divorce happen in 2006 for Michael Jordan? Well, in 2006, Saturn and the south node of the moon Ketu, both of the planets that represents detachment and separation, were transiting through his fifth house of romance and fifth house of children and creativity. But their aspect is what made that happen, the divorce. First of all, Saturn from the fifth house was aspecting the seventh house of marriage again. So brought about separation with the marriage, or tendency of separation towards marriage. Then Ketu, the south node of the moon, was aspecting Venus from his fifth aspect. And Venus is a significator of marriage, significator of wife in a man's chart. And so he separated, both Saturn and Ketu did his job in separating him from his wife in 2005. And another reason why it didn't work out is because look at the fourth house of home. Inside the home, you have debilitated Mars and you have Rahu there. So debilitated Mars is becoming amplified because Rahu, the north node of the moon, amplifies things. So it amplified his like crude nature. Like Mars here is becoming very clever, first of all. It's becoming very dominating, angry prone, okay? And he would do whatever it takes to dominate other people. Like he just like that Aries Mars that I talked about. But here Mars's nature is becoming debilitated. He's now forced to just take action that he shouldn't be taking. And so in the house, there was a lot of turbulence. And Mars, debilitated Mars from the fourth house, looks at the seventh house of marriage. And so there's a lot of arguments in the marriage. And Rahu amplifies these arguments. But what is the reason for the divorce? Okay? Look at Mars. Mars is sitting in Cancer, aspecting the seventh house. But why did it really break it? Look at the Lord of Mars, Cancer, which is Moon. Moon is in the 8th house of secrecy, secret affairs, things hidden. And so this is why he got divorced, because he was having secret affairs. Due to that, Moon, it being in the 8th house, showed that his arguments happened because of his secret affairs. That's how you see these things. Now, another thing to notice is that there's a Parivartan Yoga happening between Mars and Moon. Parivartan Raj Yoga, okay? And that's because Moon is in the sign of Mars, Scorpio, and Mars is in the sign of Moon, Cancer. So none of these planets will hurt each other's significance as much. So this is why, even though he has a tremendously good relationship with the mother was still that tough dictator. She made sure that he did everything on time. He came home on time and his brother came on time. And she pushed him to become a basketball player. She pushed him to become who he has become. But the Parivartan Yoga saved that dramatic relationship from the mother. Because you might think, oh, Moon is debilitated. Mother must have been bad. No, mother was not bad because of this yoga happening. However, mother was still that dictator type person in his home. And also, if you notice, Michael Jordan's new girlfriend, Frida something, is a European model. And if you notice, Michael Jordan's Venus is beautifully placed in the 9th house of long distance travel. And if you watch my Kim Kardashian horoscope, and if you watch my Venus in the 9th house video, you will see Venus in the 9th house usually gives inclination towards foreign spouses. These people are interested in somebody outside of their religion, outside of their race, outside of their, their community. And if you notice, Michael Jordan has 4 dhan yogas. Dhan meaning wealth, wealth giving combination in his horoscope. Why? First of all, the second lord of wealth is in the ninth house. And the ninth house lord is in the 11th house. Okay, so that's 2. Then you have fifth house lord in the 11th house. That's 3. And then you have 11th house lord Saturn in a mutual aspect with the first house lord Mars. 4 dhan yogas. This is why he is almost a billionaire. I mean, he's worth around at least $500 million. But, I mean, he's easily will become a billionaire in a few years. But you see how that's how dhan yogas work. So, guys, this was my analysis of Michael Jordan. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below because I'll be doing more athletes and more celebrities horoscope so you can see what it takes them to become successful. And if you want to know where your Mars and Saturn are placed and if you can be an athlete like Michael Jordan, check out the link below. Check out my book there, Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. What? You actually made it this far into the video? All the way to the end? Man, you must be crazy! Well, since you're already crazy enough to go this far, then might as well join the insanity by clicking that little button above where it says subscribe here. Or you can subscribe below by that little button that you see below the video. And like I told you, if you want to know where your planets are placed, where your conjunctions are, what aspects you're receiving, what planetary time period you're running through, check out this corner link below, okay? Read the directions there, because when you get the book, my Astrology at the Speed of Light book, and you follow the directions by sending me the email, I send you the link to look at your own chart so you can study everything about you. And if you want to read some more articles on astrology and every little details that I've written on my website, check out this corner link below. And this will take you to my website and to my article page where I've written tons of stuff, okay? Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with some more insane video. Bye-bye.